Hi, my name is Richard Harrison from Geminus Training. Welcome to issue 1 of Training Talks. Training Talks is a series of video blogs, some with our staff, some with our associates and some with our guests about training, the value of people and how you can improve your business by getting more from yourself and from your people. For the first issue, we've chosen what to us is a very fitting subject, which is based around an event last week. We were honoured to be a guest at the Lancashire Business View Roundtable discussion for the future of skills, which is in the May-June issue, out around May the 10th. And certain questions and points came up that raised a lot of questions and thought for me about the future of training, personal analyses, personal needs, and how you maximise, or how do businesses maximise return on investment against their training budget. Now, how often have you heard the phrase, we don't currently have a need for that training, we don't have a need for what you do, or the common one, we invest in what comes up in our personal needs analysis. There are so many unique also groundbreaking offerings out there nowadays that add significant value to a business that wouldn't come up in a typical traditional personal needs analysis. So what happens when your offering is beyond what comes up in these needs analyses and significantly improves business operation? Now, I think personal training analyses are very good where a person has a specific training need. Let's say where they're performing to 80% of their the optimum or the maximum level for that job description, where some training will help them improve what they do, improve what they deliver, improve their technical competency, whatever, then yeah, training needs analyses are fantastic things. But when they're about 80% or above, unless they're a leading subject level expert and they need that extra little bit of skill set, I don't think investing in that extra 20% is going to yield a good financial or performance return. There's always the sidestep. And this is a separate issue altogether. We've got to be careful how people define training nowadays, and that's a subject for a different day. But training, we know it is often used as a reward, especially in larger organisations. You get a chance for a training course in an exotic location, Hawaii, wherever it is, you go there. And it's not about the training, that's about the morale. So we can't judge training return on investment on that type of intervention. We're looking purely at the key training that should be delivering a financial output to the business and to the organisation. So moving on to the tip, my gut feel is moving forward, companies need to think beyond the scope of an individual training needs analysis. They need to think more about how they determine the value of that training, the change or the impact or the benefit that it's likely to bring. Does it have an impact on culture? Does it bring more from people rather than a single person? And I think training that impacts the group or training that impacts the organisation will often have a much greater impact than training that's purely aimed at an individual. And that's what we need to consider when we're working out how we spend our training budget and how it impacts on personal training analysis. Take, for example, what we do. It's tied a lot around employee engagement. We help people be more creative and innovative about what they do. And as a result, that brings continual improvement, it brings engagement, it brings commitment, it means that every person in that business either makes more money or makes more profit. But they also become happier, they become more engaged, etc. None of that would come out in a typical training needs analysis. So how do we capture these when we're looking at how we best invest our training budget? The challenge is what we do here works beyond a person's core role. It's not in their job description. It's the cultural thing that happens beyond that that brings all of the additional benefits that make sure the whole is always so much greater than the sum of the parts. Now, I said before, one of the problems we'll look at later in the later session is how we define training and how you choose what sort of training or learning and development to invest in. It's certainly my opinion that we need investment now in a wider form of learning and development, not just typical training sessions, which is why we combine our training with consultancy in quite a novel and more engaging way. But the answer as to whether we should invest in training is quite obvious. If it's the right training, learning or development, it will deliver benefits. We do need to start thinking beyond traditional skills analysis, not just doing the right thing for each individual, but doing the right thing for the team and for the organisation. And again, that often means looking way beyond the needs of the individual. It also means looking at what opportunities, it's not just looking at needs and requirements, but also opportunities and what alternative approaches can yield benefits to factors such as engagement, employee engagement, which has a direct impact on productivity. And there you go, the big P word, productivity, which impacts bottom line, revenue, profits, and everything else that matters within organisations. So moving forward, think carefully about spending your skills budget based on personal skills analysis alone. There may be a much better way to invest your money and yield a better return from a perspective of skills, engagement, and return on investment. So a little bit longer than I'd expected, but that's the end of Training Talks 1. I hope you've enjoyed my thoughts. Please comment on the post, please share, always much appreciated. And also, please don't hesitate to contact me if you want to discuss any of this further. Now, as I mentioned at the start, this was based on a session with Lancashire Business View for the May-June issue, which comes out around the 10th of May and includes a roundtable discussion with myself, some fantastic people like Louisa Scanlon, Helen Fogg from Lancaster University, Andrew Leeming, Nigel Davis from BAE, and some fantastic directors of superb businesses too. And of course Lisa Moiser, who is now on maternity leave, so congratulations Lisa, and good luck moving forward. We'll see you next year. So that's it. Thank you very much for your time. Look forward to hearing your questions, comments, and hopefully speaking further with some of you.